There is a diamond sitting in the Tower of London right now, behind thick bulletproof glass, under 24-hour armed guard, watched by cameras from every angle. It weighs just 105.6 carats, smaller than your thumb, and yet 4 nations are still fighting over it. Courts have been petitioned. Governments have sent formal demands. Lawyers have argued for decades. India wants it back. Pakistan wants it back. Afghanistan wants it back. Iran wants it back. Britain refuses to return it. This diamond has started wars. It has ended dynasties. It has driven kings to madness. Every single ruler who possessed it, without exception, eventually lost everything. Their empires, their thrones, their minds, sometimes their lives. Its name is the Koh-i-Noor, in Persian Koh-i-Noor, Mountain of Light. And this is its story, a story that spans 700 years, that crosses 5 countries, that passes through the hands of Mughal emperors, Persian conquerors, Afghan warlords, Sikh maharajas, and finally, a 10-year-old boy who was forced to hand it over at gunpoint to the British Empire. This is not just the story of a diamond. This is the story of power, of greed, of conquest, of an object so beautiful and so dangerous that the world has never been able to agree on who it belongs to. Let us begin at the beginning. The year is somewhere in the 13th century, deep in the earth of what is now the Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh in southern India, in a place called Kala. Miners are digging. The Golconda region of India was the only place in the world where diamonds were found at this time. Every diamond worn by royalty anywhere on earth had come from this soil. And one day, in one of those mines, a stone was pulled from the earth. It was rough, uncut, unpolished, but it was enormous. In its original uncut form, the diamond weighed a staggering 793 carats, making it one of the largest known diamonds in the world. The miners who found it had never seen anything like it. It was handed to the rulers of the land, the Kakatiya dynasty, who controlled this part of southern India from their great fortress at Warangal. Most historians believe it was mined in the Kala mine during the reign of the Kakatiya dynasty, which installed it in a temple of a Hindu goddess as her eye. The goddess was Bhadrakali, and the Kohi-Noor, though it did not yet have that name, became her eye, set into the idol of the goddess, gleaming, watching, sacred. For a time, it was worshipped rather than worn, but nothing sacred stays safe forever, not in a world full of kings who want what other kings have. In the early 14th century, the Delhi Sultanate was expanding southward. Alauddin Khilji sent his most feared general Malik Kafur to crush the kingdoms of the south. Malik Kafur made a successful raid on Warangal in 1310, where he acquired the Koh-i-Noor Diamond. The Kakatiya king surrendered. His treasury was looted, his temples were ransacked, and the eye of the goddess, that enormous, blinding stone, was taken north to Delhi. The Koh-i-Noor had left its birthplace for the first time. It would never truly come back. For the next 2 centuries, the Koh-i-Noor passed through the hands of the Delhi Sultanate, from the Khiljis to the Tughlaqs, from one dynasty to the next, each one taking it from the one they defeated. Win the war, take the stone. By 1526, the diamond had reached the hands of a new power in India, the Mughals. Mughal Emperor Babur mentioned it in his memoir Baburnama, calling it priceless. Babur wrote that the diamond's value was so great it could feed the entire world for 2.5 days. He was astonished by it. After Babur came Humayun. After Humayun came Akbar, who notably never personally possessed the diamond and who happened to be the most successful and long-reigning Mughal emperor. History noticed this coincidence. And then came Shah Jahan, the man who built the Taj Mahal. Shah Jahan was obsessed with beauty, with grandeur, with legacy. He commissioned the most opulent throne ever constructed, the legendary Peacock Throne, encrusted with rubies, emeralds, pearls, and diamonds. The Koh-i-Noor was placed at the very top of the throne, the centerpiece of the most magnificent object any king had ever owned. But the curse, if there was a curse, was already working. Shah Jahan's own son, Aurangzeb, imprisoned his father and seized the throne. Aurangzeb took possession of the Koh-i-Noor, and in his desire to make it even more beautiful, he made a catastrophic mistake. He gave it to a jeweler to be recut. The jeweler was not skilled enough for the task. During the cutting, a huge portion of the stone broke away. The diamond was dramatically reduced in weight. Aurangzeb was furious. He fined the jeweler a massive sum, but the damage was done. The stone was smaller now, and Aurangzeb's empire, like every empire before it, would eventually crumble. After Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire weakened rapidly. A succession of weaker emperors followed. The once mighty dynasty that had ruled most of India began to fracture, and into that fracture came an invader from the west. The year is 1739. Nader Shah of Persia, one of the most feared military commanders of the 18th century, invades India. The Mughal emperor at the time is Muhammad Shah Rangila, a ruler more interested in music and poetry than war. He was no match for Nader Shah. Nader Shah invaded India and defeated the Mughal emperor. As a result of this victory, Nader Shah looted the Mughal treasury, including the Peacock Throne and the Kohi-Noor Diamond. Nader Shah's soldiers tore through Delhi. The massacre lasted days. Tens of thousands of people were killed. The city's wealth, accumulated over centuries of Mughal rule, was stripped and loaded onto carts heading west. But one thing was missing. The Koh-i-Noor. Muhammad Shah had hidden it in his turban. Nader Shah eventually discovered this through an informant, and he used a classic trick. He invited Muhammad Shah to a feast and proposed an exchange of turbans as a gesture of friendship and brotherhood. Muhammad Shah had no choice but to agree. He handed over his turban. The turban was unwrapped, and there, falling to the ground, was the diamond. The light it threw across the room stopped Nader Shah cold. He stared at it, and from his lips came two words in Persian: Koh-i-Noor, Mountain of Light. From that moment, the diamond had its name. Nader Shah took the Koh-i-Noor back to Persia. He was so obsessed with it that he reportedly wore it on his arm at all times, unable to bear being separated from it. But the curse followed him west. Within years, Nader Shah's behavior became increasingly erratic. He grew paranoid. He suspected his own commanders of plotting against him. He began executing his most loyal officers. One night, his own bodyguards assassinated him. The Mountain of Light had claimed another king. After Nader Shah's assassination, his empire collapsed. One of his commanders, Ahmad Shah Abdali, took the Koh-i-Noor and fled to Afghanistan. With the Koh-i-Noor in his possession, he was crowned as the ruler of all Afghan people in 1747, taking up the name of Ahmad Shah Abdali and founding the first modern Afghan state. For decades, the Koh-i-Noor remained in Afghanistan, passing through the Durrani dynasty, from one ruler to the next, each one fighting for it, suffering for it, and eventually losing everything. One descendant, Shah Shuja Durrani, found himself deposed, his empire torn apart by his own family. He fled to Lahore in India seeking refuge, and there he found a new protector, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Lion of Punjab. In 1813, the Kohi-Noor Diamond returned to India when it came into the possession of the Sikh ruler Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Shah Shuja's wife, Wafa Begum, gave the Kohi-Noor to Ranjit Singh in gratitude for sheltering and protecting her husband. Ranjit Singh was unlike any previous owner of the diamond. He wore it openly, publicly, with pride. He attached it to his arm and rode through his kingdom with it glittering in the sun, a symbol of Sikh power and independence. It was during his reign that the Koh-i-Noor first began to achieve real fame and gained the singular status it has retained ever since. He loved it the way a man loves something that represents everything he has built. And yet, the pattern held. In his final years, illness consumed him. By 1839, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, once called the Lion of Punjab, the most powerful ruler in northern India, could not lift himself from his bed. He wanted to donate the Koh-i-Noor to a temple before he died. His ministers refused to allow it. On the 27th of June 1839, Maharaja Ranjit Singh died. The Koh-i-Noor passed to his son, and the Sikh Empire began to fall apart. By the 1840s, the British East India Company controlled most of India. The Sikh Empire was one of the last major independent powers left. Following the British annexation of Punjab in 1849, the East India Company took possession of the diamond. It was surrendered by the 10-year-old Maharaja Duleep Singh to Queen Victoria as part of the Treaty of Lahore. 10 years old. The last king of the Sikh Empire was a child. His father's empire had been destroyed. His mother had been imprisoned by the British. He had no army, no power, no choice. And so, under what the British called a treaty and what others call coercion, he signed over the Koh-i-Noor. The treaty itself stated that the Koh-i-Noor was not handed over on the wishes of Duleep Singh. Moreover, Duleep Singh was a minor at the time of the treaty, a 10-year-old boy, forced to sign. No real choice. The British called it a gift. History has other words for it. Governor-General Lord Dalhousie personally came to Lahore Fort to collect the stone. On the 6th of April 1850, the Koh-i-Noor was placed on a ship bound for Britain. The journey was nearly fatal. A violent storm at sea almost sank the vessel. The crew had no idea they were transporting the most famous diamond in the world. It had been kept completely secret. 3 months later, the ship arrived in Britain. Since arriving in the UK, the Koh-i-Noor has only been worn by female members of the British royal family. It is said to bring bad luck if it is worn by a man. The curse, apparently, only applied to men. Queen Victoria wore the Koh-i-Noor as a brooch, and then she had it recut again. The recutting, overseen by Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's husband, reduced its size from 186 carats to its current 105.6 carats, but it improved the stone's brilliance and clarity. The public was invited to see it at the Crystal Palace exhibition in 1851. Enormous crowds came and were disappointed. The stone looked flat to them, dull, not as dramatic as they expected. So it was recut, polished into the oval brilliant shape it holds today, and it was set into the crown of the Queen. After Victoria died in 1901, it was set in the crown of Queen Alexandra. It was transferred to the crown of Queen Mary in 1911 and to the crown of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, in 1937 for her coronation. Today, the diamond sits in the Tower of London, estimated to be worth $200 million. But its real value, the value that made kings go to war, made emperors weep, made a child sign away his inheritance, has never been about money. It has always been about what the stone means: power, legitimacy, history, identity. The nation that holds the Koh-i-Noor holds a piece of something ancient and irreplaceable. And 4 nations are still arguing about which one of them that should be. The governments of India, Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan have all claimed ownership of the Koh-i-Noor, demanding its return ever since India gained independence from the British Empire in 1947. The British government insists the gem was obtained legally under the terms of the last Treaty of Lahore in 1849 and has rejected the claims. India has asked for it in 1947, in 1953, in 2000, in 2016. The answer from Britain has always been the same: no. Britain has argued that if it returned every object acquired during the colonial era, its museums would be empty. And so the Koh-i-Noor sits today behind its bulletproof glass in the Tower of London. Let us end where we began. The diamond sits in London. But the story of the Koh-i-Noor is really the story of every king who touched it. The Kakatiya dynasty, destroyed. The Delhi Sultanate fell. The Mughals crumbled. Nader Shah of Persia, assassinated by his own men. The Durrani dynasty of Afghanistan collapsed. The Sikh Empire conquered. In all this journey, Koh-i-Noor was never bought or sold but changed hands only due to inheritance, gift, extortion, looting, trickery, and treachery. It was never purchased, never traded fairly, always taken by force, by deceit, by coercion. And every single person who took it eventually lost everything. There is an old belief about the Koh-i-Noor. It says that whoever owns this diamond will own the world, but they will also know its misfortunes. Only God or a woman can wear it safely. Make of that what you will, but look at the history, look at the pattern, and then look at the diamond sitting behind its glass in London, gleaming quietly, waiting, still beautiful, still contested, still, perhaps, waiting for the right hands, Thank you for watching Shadow Files. If this story moved you, subscribe for more new stories every week.